over that last decade or more now, it's become a deep connection built on shared interests and trust that strategically helps us to create a peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific region that we all share and live in. That connection, though, reaches far beyond just the geopolitical and security and economic bonds. Today, our ties span across education, culture and sport, and our growing Indian diaspora, some of which are here with us today. Our diaspora in Australia that acts really as the glue between our two nations to help create such a rich and vibrant partnership that our two countries share. Yet it is our defence partnership that is one of the strongest. And in the last 8 months alone, the two nations have had 4 joint naval exercises with one another. In 2023, Australia hosted the AUSINDEX in Sydney, the largest ever peacetime deployment of Australian assets and troops to conduct complex maritime exercises with India. And the Royal Australian Navy also held the Malabar exercise for the first time in August last year. And that is just to name a few. And that is why for us here at the Australia-India Institute, our defence program is just so important. It focuses on finding the gaps and enabling discussion on new areas of Australia-India defence and security cooperation. At the Institute, we have made headways in this space through hosting our inaugural Kolkata Dialogue last year and our Sydney Defence Dialogue last year. But they were only just the beginning, and in trying to explore our bilateral efforts to build a resilient and prosperous neighbourhood, we will this year continue to explore further research and policy in areas of maritime domain awareness and other ongoing security threats to the Indian and Pacific Ocean region that we can play a constructive role in addressing. Which brings me to the relevance of today's event. Of course, as Australians, we have grown up learning about the courageous acts of the Australian and New Zealand Allied Forces as they landed on Gallipoli on April the 25th, 1915. Indeed, for me as a young child, I do remember my grandfather, who fought in the Second World War in Papua New Guinea, sharing with me his stories of the battlefield there, but also previous battlefields. And through him, I learnt really what transpired over those 8 months in Gallipoli and what has endured to lead us to why we recognise the importance of ANZAC Day. But what is often unmentioned and mostly forgotten is the role that 16,000 Indian troops played and the bonds that formed between them and the Allied forces as the two valiantly served alongside each other. The Battle of Gallipoli saw the beginning of a dynamic connection between Australia and India. However, it is a connection forged not only in history, but in their shared pursuit of progress, of prosperity and peace today. The Indian story of Gallipoli has been told before, but today we're telling it again, and we're telling it in new and unexpected ways. So let, I think, today be a reminder to reaffirm our commitment to the ties of our two countries